Are we headed to another round of spending fights and a looming government shutdown? We speak with Vance Ginn, president of Ginn Economic Consulting. Vance Ginn, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you back on the show.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
With the Senate and House resuming, it seems Congress is gearing up for another spending fight. Give us a sense of what this entails this time.
Well, it really entails more spending. They want to increase spending more, and that's increased the deficit. We've seen more debt that's been added just since the debt deal. That wasn't too long ago. More than $1 trillion has been added already. They're expecting more than $2 trillion added just in this fiscal year alone, added to the national debt. And so it's just one thing after another. And so in order for us to not have a government shutdown, which is all the fear and hype that goes around that, this debt deal expires at the end of September. So now we're at September 1st. Everybody's worried about it. And so now they got to get something done. They'll probably kick the can down the road like they normally do because they want to spend more. But they really need to get down to business and say, you know what? What's going to be best for Americans? And it would be to restrain spending.
And I want to get to the potential government shutdown, but first it seems this is involving something called a continuing resolution. So what are the two sides stuck on here?
Well, that's right. We call it a CR. I was at the White House for a while as chief economist for the Office of Management and Budget. And, this is something that would come up then as well, where basically both sides, you'll have one on the Democrat side wanting more spending and maybe even more tax hikes or something like that. And then on the Republican side, you'll get a little bit less spending, but they'll want to increase spending as well. And I think what you'll see at the end of the day is they'll come up with a deal. It'll probably be more spending, things that maybe someone who's fiscal conservative like myself wouldn't like, but the government's not going to shut down or anything like that. But I hope that what they can do, though, is start to rein in government spending, because that's what's contributing to the amount of inflation, less economic growth, and even the labor market starting to slow down. So they really need to start getting government out of the way.
And Vance, the Freedom Caucus has already come out and said they're going to oppose any, quote, blank checks for Ukraine. So where do you see this going?
Well, I think that's right. And I think they should oppose it. It's one thing to say whether or not we should be in Ukraine or not, but it's another thing to think about how much we're spending, and over $100 billion has been sent to Ukraine already, yet they don't want to audit those funds. That should be something that should be the top priority, to audit the funds, whether it's Ukraine or really other places across government. I would start auditing it everywhere, from maybe independent even, not even from the government itself, because then it's just the fox covering the hen house. And really what I'd like to see is, where are these dollars going? Should we be spending money on these programs? Are we getting results that we really want? Because if not, we should be cutting them. We should eliminate government spending in many places, so that way we can get control over these deficits and debt. If not, we're going to have more inflation, more debt crises, and less economic growth in the process.
And on that note, it seems consumers are still feeling the impacts of inflation when they go to the gas pump or the grocery store. How does what's happening in Congress impact that?
Well, that's exactly right. You're seeing inflation. The headline numbers are about 3.3%. If you look at core, excluding food and energy, which we all buy food and energy, by the way, it's closer to 5%. This is still growing at a rapid rate, where wages haven't really kept up over the last 2 years. And so you start to see this all around us. The Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates, and so we've seen our mortgage rates go up, car loan rates, and everything else. And as long as Congress continues to pass the types of budgets they are, which is the excessive spending, running up deficits and debt, we're going to have higher interest rates and higher inflation. The Fed's going to print a lot of that money, and when you put more bonds out there, that means increases supply, reducing the price, raising interest rates across the economy. That means less opportunities for you to get that new car maybe you wanted, or a new house. And so it locks people in and reduces the amount of supply of cars and houses and other things on the market, raising their prices, and that reduces the affordability for so many people. In particular, millennials and Gen Zers are getting crushed right now, and it's an unfortunate situation brought onto us by big government policies.
Vance Ginn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.